Hi people, welcome back to my channel. In this video I want to show you how to set up the auto tuning of the motion system of the MVS controller in the new firmware 3.1, and I will give you a step-by-step guide to get it running. We use today the Microsoft Flight Simulator to demonstrate the auto tune. And the first step is to set up the controller. Most of you are using the FlyPT software and the rig modules to let FlyPT calculate the motion cueing. But in this case we have to set up the controller for doing this, and so you have to select your rig and enter all the dimensions. I have made it compatible to FlyPT so that you can easily enter your values. And I have to say thank you, FlyPT, that you allowed me to use your pictures, and so you can set up like in FlyPT. Also set up your actuators so that the controller is ready for running. You can choose profile on also here, or do it later in the controller. It doesn't matter. I will show you later on the rig. Okay, if your setups are ready, then we can go over to the next step. Next step is that you go to my GitHub channel, and there is a special directory called FlyPT Mover 60OF, and in this directory is a file called M4S Motion Cueing Autotune.mover. Please download this file and load it into the Mover app. Okay, I will do this now and show you this profile. Here it comes. Okay, in this profile I have two output modules. One is a standard serial module we will use for this demo, and the other one is an MMF module which makes possible to let the dashboard running in background, and the dashboard is transferring the data to the controller. But that's another point we can talk about later. So then we have three sources: Explain, DCS and SimConnect. They are all Microsoft Flight Simulator over SimConnect, and these three sources are activated, so it will connect to Mover if some of these simulations are running. And we have one pose from motion, and this pose is a little bit special but easy. First, here we have the accelerations for translation, and then I mostly use the speed values for the rotation. You can also use here the accelerations, but the controller scales it, and it's no problem, but don't use positions. The in-gain is changed to 1 for all channels. Mix, sway and roll is disabled, and mix, surge and pitch 2. The range is set up to a big value so that it won't be cut, and the filter leaves blank with value, and the output gain is also set to 1 so that the values incoming from simulations were not modified, so that the raw data gets to the controller. And in the output string we use the float values from pose module. Yes, and if you open this, you have a float value for sway, search for each axis. Yes, and these values we are using in the string, and it's a little bit longer. In the end, it's in 6 values now in float, and 2 values from 8 were left and were filled up with zeros. Okay, that it is. Download this profile, open it and start it up. And it's already connected to the controller in my case. And that's it for Mover. The next step is load up your simulation and start up a flight or a race or anything else. And we will start a flight here and just an easy flight. Now it's loaded, and please check that the values are coming in. Here you can see 2 red points. That means that it's working. I will break the simulation and go to my simulator now. Well, here we are. My sim is ready now. It's powered on, and now I press the encoder so that it does the homing. So when your rig is ready, you can, if you're new to motion simulation and you don't trust the system, then start with only 10% of the master scaling value. So only 10% of the calculated motion will go to the actuators, or 30 or 50%. I have no problem to use 100% because I know the system, that it works and it's fine. And then you do a double click and enter the motion menu. Here you can load different profiles. I mentioned earlier that we should use profile 1 in this case, and you also can choose any other system. Check that the motion system is activated. Yes. And then check that all the axes were enabled. The scale should be 100% smooth and washout 2. And then simply enter the auto gain mode. The one right beside auto tune says that the scaling actually is at 1, and scale TR means that actually the translation was scaled to 5% of the motion range of your system. You can change this with the actuator to lower values or to bigger values. The 5% setup is moderate. Normally you can use 10 or 15% for the translation. If you press the encoder, you switch over to scale for rotation, and this is set up to 2.5%. Here also you can change it also while you let it running. And so, okay, now we are ready. The simulation is started and waiting for us to fly, and now you can switch the online button and the rig comes in motion. And while you fly, you see it scales the motion, the rig is moving and finds your speed. And while it does this, You can see the scaling is calculated. And if you like, you can change the values while you fly. I will shortly stop the simulation. Okay, if you have found your setup and do all motion you can get, and so it finds the point and calculates, and if you are satisfied, please stop the auto tuning with a double click, and it moves back in the menu, and now the rig uses the profile you made with the auto tune, and next you can go over to set up the sway or surge or heave axis in a single way. If you're finished for now, you're going to save the motion pose and you're ready with it. Now I'm back to my desktop, and then you can enter the filter setup page, reload the values, and here you can see that the scaled values are entered inside. And that's it for now. In the next video after my holidays, I will show you how to use the setup feature for each axis, and so you can modify easy the values of the low pass and the high pass while you are flying. Thank you for watching and have a good time.